What's up? Welcome back to Pokehobs. Merry almost Christmas. Happy holidays. Today's video, we're going to cover the Pokemon hobby, looking back at 2025, all the sets that were released, what it was like being a collector in the hobby this year, what it was like being an investor. So let's just kick it right off. This year, Pokemon came out swinging. Back in January, the first set released for 2025 was Prismatic Evolutions, and they just kept it going from there. We saw so many new people enter the hobby this year. Scalping became a major problem. Trying to find product at your local LGS or Walmart or Target or Best Buy was crazy. Pretty much always long lines. If you could find anything, you had to show up early most of the time. So a lot of us had to resort to buying Pokemon cards on the secondary market at huge markups. The scalping is such an issue, and that's what happens when Pokemon's hot and we're in a bull market. Scalping becomes a major issue. So that was a big hurdle for this year, but I want to try to focus on the positives of this year, and that is what Pokemon brought to us, which we'll just take it again right from the top. So first we had the release of Prismatic Evolutions with all the evolutions. This set was extremely hyped up, and then we move on to Journey Together. So these guys right here, this brought back the trainer gallery. So Pokemon with their trainers in the illustration rares and the special illustration rares. I was super excited about that. They came back with the box topper. We hadn't seen that in forever. So you get yourself a really sweet promo with this booster box. And then let me just take a little bit more time talking about Destined Rivals. I thought that Prismatic Evolutions was hyped up. The hype about the return of Team Rocket to Pokemon. We hadn't seen that since the early 2000s. Was crazy. I myself was FOMOing hard about Destined Rivals, and it did not fail. It met and exceeded my expectations. I will say I did feel a little bit of pushback from the community. Not much, but a lot of people didn't feel that the illustration rares and the special illustration rares were as good as they had expected. For me, I absolutely love them as a collector. And even though there was a little bit of pullback in hype right after all of the special illustration rares for Destined Rivals were revealed, there still was not nearly enough supply to meet demand, which I believe this set was released in May. We're now in December. This is the most expensive booster box that was released this year. You want to pick that up, you're going to have to go on the secondary market, and it's currently sitting right around the $400 mark. So highly sought after. Pokemon has done a good job at releasing Destined Rivals in the ancillary products, specialty sets and premium collections and all that. You can pick up at your local Target or Walmart, again, if you're lucky. So we still keep seeing more and more PSA 10s come out, which is dropping the value on them a little bit. I watch the market and I look at eBay a lot because I want to pick up that Cynthia's Garchomp and the Mewtwo SIR from that set. But I always talk about not buying the chase cards, especially in a PSA 10, until a while after the set releases. And then that brings us into the next set that was released over the summer. Next two sets, actually, they were released on the exact same day. So we had Black Bolt and White Flare. This marked the end of the Scarlet and Violet era, and every single card that came in both of these sets came with the illustration rare. So Generation 5 was your generation of Pokemon cards. This was definitely the set for you. It featured Reshiram and Zekrom. Super, super dope. Great way to end an amazing era of Pokemon. And then we got introduced to the new Mega Block. Mega Evolutions. New game mechanic, you know, for those of you who play. Again, I'm just a collector, always have been. This also came with a box topper. So second booster box we got this year that came with a super cool promo, which is that the Bulbasaur. They call it like the Air Jordan Bulbasaur. It's freaking adorable. And it pairs with the SIR Ivysaur and Mega Venusaur in the set. So if you get all three and you put them together, it creates one really cool picture. It also came with the best looking Lucario card that we've ever gotten as Pokemon collectors. That SIR of Lucario fighting Venusaur, there's no Lucario that even comes close to it. And then the Mega Gardevoir in the set, that's probably going to go down as some of the best artwork on a card in 2025. And then lastly, we got this bad boy. We got Phantasmal Flames, smallest set released since I've been back in the hobby, which is 2020. By far the smallest set. There's only a handful of special illustration rares that came in it, and it came with that Mega XEX Charizard card that had Charmander in it, Charmeleon, Charizard, and then the Mega Charizard. And that card, even though it's relatively easy to pull, even on the English side, your chances of pulling that are 1 in 400 packs. That card remains extremely expensive. It's dropping slowly. It's raw. It's still sitting in the high 500s. It'll probably, we haven't seen the rest of the Mega Evolution block yet. Obviously, we have a ways to go. A lot of stuff coming out, really good sets coming out in 2026. But I would have to assume, and I'm going to guess, that the Charizard SIR from Phantasmal Flames will go down as the Grail card of the Mega Evolution block. And I just want to kind of touch on all the new people in the hobby. Like, having been back into it for, you know, five and a half years, I love seeing it. It did create a lack of supply that was available. However, I've made some really good friends, you know, just waiting in line at Best Buy or GameStop, and people that just got back into it within the last year. I mean, I feel a little bit bad if you just got back into the hobby in the last year, because it was a rough time to do it. It was rough for me. I had to constantly be monitoring my X app to look for Pokemon drops, like through Walmart, Sam's Club, Costco, Pokemon Center. We'll touch on the Pokemon Center a little bit later in the video, but yeah, hell of a time to get back into it. With all these amazing sets and art that Pokemon keep coming out with, you know, it came at a price to all of us, and that was pretty much not being able to find product. From a collector, that was rough, especially if you wanted to open packs at MSRP. Now, as a sealed investor, it was still an absolutely amazing year. And I want to touch on entry point. A lot of people, myself included, a lot of the times I'll get honed in on picking up product at MSRP. And of course, that's what I want, you know. But unfortunately, with as much scalping and hype as there is in the hobby right now, sometimes you just gotta buy things on eBay if you have to have it, and you refuse to miss out on having that product in your sealed collection. You have to pay secondary market prices, which brings me to my point. So, Destined Rivals sitting at around $400 for this booster box. I don't see that changing. It might, you know, go up and down by, you know, $20-$30 depending on the current market. It has seen a little bit of a retrace. Pretty much everything has sealed product, and PSA 10s, especially this last month and a half. That's normal if you're new to the hobby. That happens every year around this time. Come January, I expect everything to go right back up. But entry point, so even now, I think if you were to pick up a Destined Rivals booster box at around $400, as long as you're not looking to make a quick buck, you're not a scalper, and you're okay with the long-term hold, 5 years, 10 years, I think you're gonna do really well. That makes me want to talk about Evolving Skies. I felt that I had missed the boat on that. I purchased a booster box at MSRP, I think back in late 2020, early 2021, something like that. Don't quote me on that. And my wife and I, we ripped it. Got extremely lucky, pulled the Moonbryon. Back then, I was just a collector. I wasn't a sealed investor. And so we just got so lucky pulling that card. That's also with 51 of my other cards at PSA right now, awaiting, I think it's in the Q&A process right now. So we should have those back in a month or so. But we got really lucky, and I didn't have a sealed booster box of it. And as I got into the sealed side, the sealed investment side of this hobby, it really bothered me that I didn't have an Evolving Skies booster box. So about a year ago, I picked it up at an LGS. Me and my wife were living out in Vegas at the time. I went to a place called 888 Collectibles. I thought it was the best LGS in Las Vegas, and pulled the trigger. They had 3 Evolving Skies booster boxes on the shelf, and they were $900 each. And I remember it hurt so bad, but I went ahead and pulled the trigger on it. My wife, thank God she talked me into it. And that's the entry point that I'm talking about. So I bought it for $900. So you could look at that one of two ways. One, you could look at it as, wow, what a great investment. You over doubled your money in just 1 year, because they're now sitting at over $2,000 a box. But you could look at it as, I'm a sucker, because if I would have kept my original booster box sealed, or just bought 2 of them, ripped one, kept one sealed, I could have got it for 160. But does it really matter long term? Like, if you stop and ask yourself that, like, Evolving Skies booster boxes, they're gonna hit $10,000. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And my point in telling you guys all of this is, I wouldn't focus too much on entry point. Like, every set that I have displayed here that was released in 2025 is a really good investment long term. They didn't come out with one weak product this year. Not one set was weak. The artworks were absolutely fantastic, and it's not too late. I think you should collect what you like, but I also think that you should be mindful of total set value when you're doing these investments, or you want a good return on investment, let's say 10, 15 years from now. So don't sleep on Prismatic Evolutions. I talked about it in my last video. You can get those on the secondary market right now for a little over $100 in ETB. Super solid pickup. Destined Rivals. Destined Rivals came in second place with total set value. Don't sleep on it. I was actually looking at maybe ordering an entire sealed case of Destined Rivals booster boxes today. It's a big decision. They're going for like $2,300, but I think it'll age really well. So it's something that I might pull the trigger on. If I do, I'll do a little video on it. Now it'll be the first sealed case in my collection. So looking back at 2025, absolutely amazing year for Pokemon. I think it's the best back-to-back sets that I've released in a single year since I've been back in the hobby. Super exciting. I can't wait to get my hands on some Ascended Heroes. That set looks incredible. And then the Mega Evolution block, it's just going to keep going through 2026, and the artworks are just so incredibly sick. I'm super pumped. I unfortunately don't see scalping or FOMO or the hype in the hobby. I don't see that going anywhere. If anything, what I see is more people pouring into the hobby, especially towards the end of 2026. We're going to be getting the 30th anniversary, and I was there for the 25th anniversary, and it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be scalped. There's going to be insane amounts of FOMO. But I can't wait. I can't wait, and I'm so excited just to be a part of this. I'm excited to be doing this channel. And yeah, happy holidays, everybody. Next video will come out in a couple of days. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.